All right, so how we want to guard the ball screen. There are different ways that you can guard it, and it depends on how comfortable you are, but I'm going to show you how we do it to put out the most pressure possible. So the first day, the way that we want to guard the ball screen, I always teach my guys, is we want to hedge, and we want a hard hedge. I think it's good to teach it this way. And let's go ahead and take a look here and put our 4 here. So if one's got the ball, we're going to come up and we're going to screen X1. We want X4. Now he started with him here because of where the ball was. We don't want to be behind him. We don't want to front him because there's too much room. We want him to start on the side here. And that's probably the only place that we're going to have front. But we want X4 to come up with that screen, and we want him to be in a straight line here. So the 1 has to take an extra dribble out before he can go down. If they flatten out on this screen, it allows the 1, especially a good one, to go have a great angle off of his hip. So we want to hard hedge every single screen. If they're on the perimeter right here, then when let's say it's a post player who comes out, and he's going to come and he's going to set a screen to try to get him to go up to the top side. And teams will do this because they know we don't want him to reverse the ball. Whatever angle he takes, our X5 in this case is going to take the same angle, is going to keep an arm on him, but is going to outstretch the other arm, and we're going to hedge. So he's got to go this way, and then he's going to come around. That keeps players on the half of the court we want them on, and that's this half down here. All right, so that's going to help us out big time in keeping them where we want them, is that hard hedge. So that would be the first thing that it is the first thing that I teach my players to do, is to hard hedge. All right, so once we hard hedge, you've got a couple of options for the player who's getting screened. So that's X1. We've got the screen here by the 4. Our X4 has hard hedge coming straight up here. Most of the time, I have the X1 go underneath that screen. If we get this guy to dribble up right here, then we're going to be able to get there without a problem, and we're not going to be hurt. Most high school players aren't great shooting off the dribble. So this action here, even if we don't do a great job on the hedge, I still don't think hurts us too much. What they want to do is they want to drive, and we don't want them to drive. So by going underneath this screen, you'll stop the drive, and unless it's just a lights out shooter, you're not going to have any problem there guarding the shot. If you've got a kid, we had a kid in our league last year who ended up playing at Western Michigan University, and he was averaging, 35, 40 points a game and should shoot like crazy. We tried to stay right on his hip on any screens and make sure that we were right with him here. That's the only guy that we had to do that with at all last year. Normally we just went underneath the screens. So hard hedge, have them go underneath, have them go over the top, depending on the shooter and what you want them to do. So let's take a look at a couple other ways here that you can guard the screen. The next one that you want to try to do is you want to just switch out of it. So hard hedge doesn't hurt you at all. If our 4 is an athletic 4, we come up, we get a screen here, and we're still going to hard hedge, but we're just going to use it as a switch. So it doesn't hurt us at all to hard hedge there. The third option that you can use is to make sure that you want to trap him. So X1 and X4 are going to stay here, and we're going to trap them. A lot of times this works better when the ball screens are not in the center of the floor, when they're over here somewhere on one of the wings. But you can trap him right here if you'd like to. So you say, well, what happens with the roll man here? This guy cuts down into the middle. What are you going to do? There's 2 things that we teach our players to do. One is if we're not switching, so X4 hard hedges, did his job, 1 went underneath the screen. We want our X4 man right here. We want him to turn and sprint with his hands up right to that guy. Okay, we aren't worried about watching the ball at all. He can have his back turned so we can see the numbers on his back compared to where this player is. We're going to have our hands up right there. It's the responsibility of everybody else to help on this. So when you start talking about ball screens, if you have a team that does continuity offense and they're doing ball screens at all, it's everybody else's job to help on that continuity until this man can get back. There's always a man that's going to be 2 passes away, and when there's a man 2 passes away, that's the guy that's going to be relied on the most to help out. All right, so that's going to be how you want to, anytime we have a ball screen. If we want to switch it, X1's responsibility, turn with your hands up, okay, until you get all the way down there and we confront him when he's in the post. Everybody else is going to help until that action happens. All right, so the hard hedge allows us to contain the dribbler a little bit, and then we can play off of that depending on what we're doing and how we want to defend this, as long as everybody's on the same page. So if we had a guard over here, let's say the ball's going this way, well, we're not looking to pass it to the 2. X2 can get all the way in here, and he can help out a ton on this roll man, because his guy is the least of our worries right now. This guy's going to turn, jump in the air, snap it back over to this. We'll get out there and we'll defend that. By the time that action happens, we've already guarded the post. We get out and close out on the high side. So that's going to help us out there. The other options here, we did the trap already. The other is jam the screener. So you got a guy who really is a good player, and you don't want to have the ball, and you're not really confident in getting back with your hands up and taking that away. They've learned how to pass and then shoot one down off the wing real quick. Well, just stop this guy from rolling at all. And what I mean by that is we're going to jam him. So we'll stay up here for simplicity right now. We come over, they're setting that screen again. X4 knows, because your scouting plan, that you want to jam the screener. And what I mean by jam it, you're going to take your chest and you're going to put your chest right into this guy's shoulder right here. So we're not hard hedging. What we're doing is, when the scouting report, maybe the 1 isn't a great shooter, he's a better penetrator. And if it's a good screen, you still can go underneath it to stop penetration. If it's not a good screen, you can come over the top of it and still put a lot of pressure on him. But by jamming the screener right here, you're basically not letting him roll or dive. You've just taken that away completely. Where the hard hedge allows this guy to roll or dive, and we're saying everybody else is going to be able to help us. This is saying we don't want this guy to touch the ball at all, so we're going to jam it first, not let him roll or dive, because we know they want that option, and then we're going to quickly get underneath or go over the top to contain the ball. So that would be a 5th way that you could guard a ball screen. That, if you got an elite player who's a post player, a big guy, that's a great way to do it, especially if the team's action is one where they're going to try to move him into a ball screen to try to create an advantage. You just take that advantage away by jamming it. Sometimes you can get a charge call or something on it as well. But you can't be late. If you're late on it, you'll get the blocking foul. You got to be right with the guy. And then the last step is going to be just a step back. So we don't particularly think that, I shouldn't say the last one, I got one more after this to guard the ball screen as well. So we're going to go ahead, and this time when he comes up to screen it, X4 is just going to stay back. So when we stay back, we allow X1 some room to get in between there. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to handle the screen or the roll, the dive, whatever it is, or the dive or the roll right here. All right, so that's going to be another way that we can guard that action. We're going to say X1, you get over the top, you go underneath, depending on the scouting report on this player, but we're going to keep our big on big right here. I don't do this as much because I like the hard hedge quite a bit, but this is another option for teams who really don't like, if this guy's a slower big man, you don't want to have him out there, then this is a great option for you. And then the last one we'll take over onto the wing. And it's called an icing action, and it's something that you can use if a team happens to be doing a lot of screening on the side. And what we're going to do is we'll take X1 here, and let's take our 4 out of the post this time. So we're going to come up and we're going to screen right here. X4 is going to come with that, and he's going to kind of stay back in this area. He's not going to come all the way up. So when this guy comes over, we'll go over the top with him on this, keep him on this side. but he's going to kind of mirror whatever the ball does. He's not going to take the ball, but he's going to ice it. So it's kind of like on an ice skate. So wherever the ball goes, he's going to mirror that. That gives this man opportunity to catch up to the ball. And then as soon as he catches up, X4 goes and guards the 4-man wherever he's at. So it stops that dribble penetration right there, and doesn't allow him to have exactly what he's hoping for, whether it's a drive or he's going to come off of there and he's going to try to hit somebody in the post. Well, you've got your man closing out, and then you've got X4 down here, who's just mirroring you, not allowing you to get that. This works really well in our defense because we're trying to keep him on one side. So we'll let our defender get here. We'll get up on the high foot where we want him to be. Once we see that happen, X4 can come out to wherever the 4-man was. If he happens to be out here, we can jump out. We can try to deny a pass there. And so that works really well in our defense. So that ice is really on the wing. That's not going to happen up top too much because there's so much room. But once you get on the wing, get him go downhill, that's where it works pretty well. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel and head over to CoachMattDennis.com for more videos like this and other great resources.